Cristiano Ronaldo becomes a familiar problem Manchester United must face once again. In recent years, Manchester United has encountered a growing issue: the disgruntled former employee. Just 2 years ago, Cristiano Ronaldo was publicly at odds with Erik Ten Hag, questioning the manager's approach. At that time, it seemed Ronaldo was wrong, but now, in hindsight, his criticisms appear more justified. In 2022, after Ronaldo's explosive interview that led to his departure from United, most sensible fans sided with Ten Hag. The club seemed better off without the Portuguese superstar, who was mentally checked out. But while Ronaldo's tune hasn't changed, the once harmonious melody of Ten Hag's United is now discordant. Ten Hag's repetitive rhetoric in interviews and press conferences is starting to wear thin. His realistic, but not exactly inspiring, assessment of United's prospects is a far cry from the bold confidence fans associate with past managers like Sir Matt Busby, Tommy Docherty, Ron Atkinson, Sir Alex Ferguson, and even Jose Mourinho. During pre-season, Ten Hag admitted, "We still need to catch up." Meanwhile, Sir Jim Ratcliffe voiced a similarly cautious view about the club's championship chances. Ronaldo, in a recent conversation with Rio Ferdinand, couldn't resist mocking United's low ambitions. "The manager says they can't compete for the league or the Champions League," Ronaldo said. "You can't be the Manchester United manager and say that. Even if you don't have the potential, you should never admit it. You have to try." Rumor has it Ferdinand is heading back to Carrington this week, perhaps in his role as a pundit for TNT Sports, as United braces for yet another early kickoff on Saturday. United has never been shy about clashing with the media, and Ferdinand himself was recently contacted by a senior United official over his criticism of the club's decision to sell Scott McTominay to Napoli. The media landscape is rapidly changing. Many of United's former stars now host or appear on podcasts, and their opinions carry significant weight. Ronaldo, possibly the most recognized athlete on the planet with an immense global following, continues to wield influence, something that could become a heavy burden for Ten Hag. With his voice amplified across social media and newspaper headlines, Ronaldo's comments are heard by millions. His stature as the game's all-time leading scorer makes him impossible to ignore, and his criticisms now hang over Ten Hag like a dark cloud. Ten Hag is scheduled to meet the press today at the Jimmy Murphy Center, and Ronaldo's name will surely come up. He may even cross paths with Ferdinand. The relationship between United's former stars and the current regime remains complex. Ferdinand, like Roy Keane before him, has never shied away from criticizing the club. Keane famously angered Sir Alex Ferguson after United's Champions League exit in 2011, when he bluntly stated, "They got what they deserved." Today, United's communications team carefully monitors what's being said, whether on podcasts or in the papers. Gary Neville, another former star, was invited to speak with Ten Hag earlier this year, with the manager offering insight into why the season had been so challenging. But no matter what Ten Hag says, Ronaldo's shadow looms large. Once again, Manchester United finds itself grappling with the echoes of its past, just as Ronaldo makes his presence felt, both on and off the field. Erik Ten Hag may have already given up on Manchester United's unstoppable star. Erik Ten Hag pushed hard for the £85.5 million signing of Antony during his first season at Manchester United, but the winger may now never shake off the label of a failed investment. As the team prepares for their lineup announcement at St. Mary's this Saturday, one selection decision will likely go unnoticed but speaks volumes about the subtle shift in Ten Hag's relationship with his most expensive acquisition. It wouldn't be a surprise if Antony finds himself on the bench for the 8th consecutive match, dating back to last season. The only surprise might be if the Brazilian winger even sees the pitch, having played a mere 1 minute of football across the last 7 games. In Antony's first 21 months at the club, Ten Hag did everything in his power to back and defend him. What started as a decent debut season has quickly turned into the peak of his United career, instead of a foundation to build on. His performances have declined drastically, and his effectiveness on the field has waned. Since January, Antony has started just 5 of the last 25 matches, despite contributing a goal and assist against Newport County. Though the club has denied reports of a rift between the player and the manager, the cooling relationship between Ten Hag and Antony is evident. Earlier this year, Ten Hag hinted that domestic abuse allegations surrounding Antony were impacting his performances, and he was still adjusting to life in the Premier League. The manager remained optimistic in his support, even saying in February, "Antony, I've backed him for a long time. I know his qualities, and he has immense talent. When he's at his best, he's unstoppable, no defender can touch him because he's one of the quickest over 10 meters." Ten Hag went on to express confidence that Antony would bounce back, saying, "He will have to wait for his chance, and when it comes, he has to take it." But since then, the chances have come and gone. Another opportunity doesn't seem likely anytime soon. A loan move to Turkey before the transfer deadline on Wednesday is off the table, meaning Antony's path to a fresh start is blocked for now. At Manchester United, it's becoming increasingly clear that Antony has lost the trust of the coach who brought him to Europe at Ajax and then to Manchester. His last start for the club came in April against Sheffield United, where he was substituted after 59 minutes with the team trailing 2-1. A few weeks later, he started against Crystal Palace but was pulled after just an hour as United were down 3-0. That remains his most recent start for the club. Ten Hag has been tight-lipped about Antony's fall from grace. In July, he reaffirmed, "I'm still convinced Antony has the potential to succeed here." However, that potential won't be realized through sporadic one-minute cameos, and Antony hasn't done enough to earn his spot back in the lineup. His 83 appearances for United have produced just 11 goals and 5 assists, while younger players like Ahmad have made a much stronger case with far more impactful displays. There is still time for things to change, but as it stands, it appears Ten Hag may have given up on Antony. If that's the case, the Brazilian's days at Old Trafford could be numbered, with a summer exit on the horizon. How Manchester United now stacks up against Liverpool, Man City, and Arsenal. The era of the top four ruled the mid to late 2000s, and the Big Six has long since faded. Now, we have a clear Big Three in the Premier League, and Manchester United isn't part of it. The familiar hierarchy is already forming with Manchester City, Liverpool, and Arsenal firmly entrenched among the top four. Brighton's presence in third place doesn't seem out of place either. Less than 16 months ago, they finished sixth, and with nearly £200 million spent during the summer transfer window, they've cemented themselves as serious contenders. Meanwhile, Manchester United languishing in 14th doesn't inspire confidence, and it seems highly unlikely they'll break into the top three, as they did in Erik ten Hag's debut season. 2 years ago, United handed Liverpool their first domestic defeat of the calendar year, when Liverpool stumbled out of the gate with draws against Fulham and Crystal Palace. This season, however, Liverpool has been red-hot under Arne Slot, while United has lost 2 of their first 3 league matches for the 4th time in 7 seasons. Behind closed doors, key United figures admit that City, Arsenal, and Liverpool are essentially playing in their own mini-league. If they don't win, it's seen as a shock, a United source acknowledged. The playing field outside this dominant trio is much more level. Teams like Brighton, Newcastle, Bournemouth, Nottingham Forest, Tottenham, Chelsea, and Fulham are all currently above United in the standings and, notably, all of them beat United last season. Brentford, sitting in 6th, may not have won, but they delivered a commanding performance against United, hitting the woodwork 4 times and racking up 31 shots against Andre Onana on Easter Saturday. Even Crystal Palace, 2 points behind United, completed a league double over them. Ten Hag has since hinted that United overachieved by finishing 3rd in 2023. That seems to be a minority opinion, especially as the club continued its record-breaking summer spending spree in a bid to return to the Champions League. Securing 4th place is the absolute minimum goal this season, and the race is wide open. Pundits from the BBC had United, Chelsea, Newcastle, Tottenham, Aston Villa, and West Ham all vying for that coveted spot in their pre-season predictions. United's fall to mid-table almost makes their losses appear less alarming. Brighton's Amex Stadium is becoming a fortress for them, and Liverpool has put United to the sword with 7-0, 5-0, 4-0, and 3-0 drubbings over the past 3 years. Southampton away may offer some relief, but nothing is guaranteed. United is unbeaten in their last 15 against the Saints, but 8 of those ended in draws. The only emphatic win came in a bizarre 9-0 victory during lockdown in February 2021. Southampton hasn't earned a point yet and hasn't won a Premier League match since March 2023. Their last victory over United at St Mary's dates all the way back to August 2003, which was Cristiano Ronaldo's 4th game for the club. The omens are bleak for United's pessimistic fans, who have watched their team lose 16 of their last 41 league games. Southampton's 3-at-the-back system could easily disrupt a United side that still bears a troubling resemblance to the disjointed and careless outfit that finished 8th last season.